My biggest fear and anticipation this day was that I would suck pond water with a straw. Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. That anticipation was based on my performance in a couple of local practice races the previous 2 weeks, in which I was spit out the back in the first lap on each of these little climbs. There's no 1's and 2's in this race, just 3's and 4's, but these are 35's and 45's, and I'm on the tail end of being 65. As you may have noticed, I did the smart thing and lined up at the front of the race. As you're noticing now, I'm toward the back end of the race. My biggest challenge in this first of 2 races I did this day were the young legs and their ability to apply and realize immediate power. When I would try and match them, I of course would be slower, and then I'd have to maintain an extended surge in order to make up that small gap that I created. And over time, over the race, that would wear on me. We are in the middle of one of the 2 chicanes on this course, and coming out of this chicane was one of the toughest sections for me because this is where the speed would pick up, and if I wasn't in good position, which I often was not, I would have to apply a lot of power for an extended amount of time, not to catch up to them, but to minimize my loss as the rest of them were going by me. If I was fortunate, I would find a wheel eventually before we got to the other corner. Usually at the other corner the pack would slow down a bit because they were turning into a headwind, so we have wind coming from the right to the left. Not a lot right now, but enough to make a little bit of a difference. Being on the weaker end of the pack, it was critical for me to be in good position on someone's wheel coming into a corner so that when I came out of the corner I can apply the minimal amount of power to still maintain that position. I just come onto the start finish. The pack is still pushing it. Probably what has happened is that the front came out of the corner strong and then it started to stretch things out, and by the time it got to where I am, there were gaps that needed to be filled. Let's take a look at a couple of other examples. This is one that's going to deal with the other chicane. Coming into it, I am just too far off the wheel. And actually everyone is too far off the wheel in front of them. So they are making it up by increasing their speed. I have to increase my speed, but again, they are increasing their speed faster than what I am. That of course means I have to stay on the gas just a little bit longer. And so again, as I was saying before, when I'm consistently doing that, it's just going to wear on me. With this last corner, I did pretty good, but if you saw up ahead, everything is stretched out, everyone's going fast, and then that means they are accelerating again faster than I am. I'm in that same position. I know what's happening to me, I know the outcome it could lead to, and the only thing I could do is just try and make minor adjustments to be where I need to be. But apparently it's not this corner. Again, I'm way off the wheel of where I should be. These guys are pushing it. Again, I'm pushing in lots of watts just to get to where I need to. A little bit of a rest as I kind of accelerate up to them, and now I'm coming back out of this, and I'm somewhat in a better position, but again, younger legs, stronger, and now I'm in doing the same thing, just trying to catch up. I finally do get on someone's wheel, and now I need to get as much buffer as I can. So with the wind coming from the right, I'm going up the left, slowly, way too slowly, but this is the best I could do, so I can get a little bit of daylight between me and the back. Now when I say daylight, I mean other riders that I can hook onto when they start to pass me. Now, this is another tough corner. Every corner is just tough for me in terms of placement with these guys. So I had to put a lot of energy in just to get back on the wheel, and it is especially critical that I do this now because we are into a headwind. If I'm off a little bit and I'm just a little bit extra weakened, then that's it. I'm off the back. I just fast forwarded to the middle of this 40-minute race, and we're on the back end and doing the second chicane. I'm, not perfectly placed, but I'm in there, and it's kind of grouped up. But when you look up ahead, you can see they're starting to line it out again. And so now we're hitting this really tough section for me, and everybody's going away from me. And so I'm putting in just a large amount of watts relative to what I can do to try and get back up there. Big gap. So I'm just keep working it. I don't know if anybody's behind me. I'm hoping that they're going to slow down again for the same reasons to go into that headwind. But if they keep drilling it through it and are drilling past it like they seem to be doing, it's going to be even tougher for me. Okay, so into the headwind section now, and due to the curved nature of this particular corner, I got nothing but wind. And now these guys are starting to go away from me. I am keeping at it. I don't know again who's behind me. I wish I had my camera so I can see after the fact, but I'm going to guess right now that I am last or close to the last. So now my plan is to just keep on it and hope that they slow up a bit. I'm starting to get an indication that that is what may be happening. I'm not on the wheel yet. I still got to keep pushing it. I'm using a lot of bananas. If you look at my wattage in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see that I took my foot off the pedal. Reason being that I'm on the edge and I'm starting to go. Fortunately, they are finally starting to bunch up, so that gives me a bit of a chance to get back up to them. Still, I'm not on the wheel, and that's where I need to be. And chances are, when they come out of the chicane, they're going to be drilling it on the back side. At that point, it'll be a function of my recovery, how fast I can recover under stress. And the problem is, I've been doing it the whole race so far. And looking at my power, I'm seeing that I have no more recovery under stress. Power is now down to 0. Wanting to get the most out of this race that I can, I cruise around for a couple laps, and when they come around again, I go and jump on their wheel. Hoping, of course, that I can survive till the end. So they're coming up now. I'm taking a wide berth. And yeah, there's some solo guy out there. Another guy is attempting to bridge up to him. I'm looking over my shoulder to see where the rest of them are so I can get up my speed, which I'm doing now. So apparently they're coming up so I can integrate into them and do it such that I'm not at the very end with a gap and then trying to get back on their wheel. And with this being a headwind, that would be especially tough. So fortunately, I am able to integrate in with them, and I do last the rest of the race. Lasting the rest of the race in my case means with the increased speed in the final run-in, I got spit out before the final corner. Let's now compare to how I did in the Masters 55 60s. Of course, I was in the 60 plus. When I went to line up, I saw a lot of people there, I saw a lot of names there that I was surprised that aged up. And I'm thinking, this is going to be a pretty strong race. Within the first lap, it was pretty easy to see there was a couple differences between racing with these set of masters compared to the race I just did. First is, these guys don't tend to haul ass from the very beginning, and that's of course an advantage for me. And the second thing is, they don't have that immediate jump, that quick, powerful jump that the younger group does. I'm sure there's a number of them that do in there, but as a group they tend not to. That means my propensity for having gaps open up in front of me is greatly diminished. While both races were quite safe and I was comfortable with both packs, I had even less hesitancy to stick my nose into tight places. That, of course, enabled me to be more protected from the wind and enabled me to be better positioned coming in and out of the turns. Okay, not always, but a lot more often. Fast forward to the next time we come around this chicane, I'm where I should be. And I found a nice big guy to be behind. And so now we're coming in and the speed is picking up again. I'm starting to lose contact with this guy, but I'm not the last guy in line. I have some people to the right of me, at least I hope to the right of me. I know they're behind me. So what I'm doing is just trying to crawl up to on the left side. Yeah, see, I did have people beside me. And we're going to coast in, and I'm going to be in good position coming out of this corner into the headwind section. Young Cycling Greek would have done 4 or 5 races today. But of course I'm old Cycling Greek, and not only old Cycling Greek, but old Cycling Greek with AFib. So I limit myself to 2 races, and the races I chose happen to be a little over 4 hours apart. Now, if it was my choice, I'd love to do a race, take a race rest, then do another race. But with 4 hours, I'm sleeping a little bit, and then I'm going to warm up, starting real easy, and then maybe do a pickup or 2. So that worked out for me. My warm-up before the first race also worked out. Those guys were just stronger. Fast forwarding about 25 minutes into this 40-minute race, I am now coming out of the first chicane, or I'm in the middle of it, and I will be coming out of it. Still quite comfortable, still in good position, keeping my nose in where it should be. These guys all of a sudden take off, and so now I am starting to get a little bit of a gap in front of me. I'm still not worried, and so this is what usually happens. These guys will slow up before the 45s, 45s will slow up. So not a problem. Everything is all good. So now I just have to do what I've been doing earlier in the race in this situation. I've positioned myself so then when we get onto that back straight, or that side straight I should say, then I will stay on the left side to be protected. But I dropped my chain, so it's not because of my legs, but it's because of my chain. So right now I'm just I'm figuring out what's going on. At a certain point I have to stop and get my chain back on. What happened is it fell into the small ring, and then I couldn't get it back onto the big ring. What are you gonna do? This is what you're gonna do. So I get it back on, I cruise around for a bit, and then these guys catch back up to me, so I'm gonna get onto the back of them. But you'll notice there's a break of about 3, and so they're all lined out trying to catch them, and that means I have to do an even bigger jump. Again, I'm not good with jumps. So I'm hoping to get on the left side and get some protection, and I'm still chasing. I'm still trying to get up there so I can get on the left side. These guys are still drilling it. It looks like the events of the day are catching up to me. So I do need to get up there, get on that left side before we hit that corner, because when they go into the headwind, I don't know what they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing what they're doing, and I'm looking up ahead and they're just lined out still. The guy is so close. I don't know who's behind me, but that may not matter. I am just doing what I can. There's a big gap that's open between the pack itself, and then that's it. This is all I could do. Watts now are back down to 0. Those sport souls that were behind me now are trying to catch up to that pack. So I continue on. I'm caught by another rider who was previously dropped. He asked me if I know anybody in the crowd. So I believe his intent was that he would lead me out, and then I could take the sprint in front of whoever knows me. I thanked him, and I said, no worries, because if anybody actually sees me take a sprint, they would know that I didn't do it on my own. I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. In spite of what you saw, I was pleased by how things turned out today for me. It could have been worse, a lot worse. I'll have the Strava for these 2 races linked below, and always remember, comment, like, subscribe, The Cycling Greek.